So again, thank you for your patience. And again, thank you, Jill, for asking that question, and Breck for stepping up and sharing your screen. So I still don't have all of my email back, but again, I don't want to do a complete shutdown, because if I do, then I'll lose this, and then I don't know if we'll all still be able to get back into the Zoom meeting here. So I was talking about email here, and talking about the inbox and label. So what I'm going to do now is switch gears and go back to the gear and go to settings. So I showed you on composing an email where you could put your own signature, and again, where you change all of that is under the General tab. There is so much under here that hopefully it'll bring your attention to it and you can play around with it. Again, my suggestion with this, do one thing at a time, see how it manipulates your email, and then feel free. If you like that, keep it, and then change something else. If not, go back and uncheck that so that it you can have it back to the old way that you had it previously. So a couple things right here. Maximum page size. Again, I've got mine set that I can see 50 emails at a time. Again, for some people that is way too many. You can have up to 10 or as many as 100. Have you ever went to send an email, you send it, and then you thought, oh my, why did I send that? Well, right here, you have, you can do the undo send. You can have up to 30 seconds to undo your send. I think the default is either 5 or 10 seconds, but you can change it to make it longer. If you hit undo send, it's never went there, and you can, make your corrections or add anything else you would like to in that email. Default reply behavior. Are you ever on a thread of an email and people reply all and you don't care to hear their responses? You could have your default be just reply. On any email, you could go in and set it just on each email to reply all, or you could have the default reply all, but I have mine set up to reply. If I want to hit reply all, I can when I start to reply. So you have some options there. Couple other things here. Again, I think all of these are worth mentioning, but because of time and how do you best learn is by experimenting with it rather than sitting and listening to me. Smart compose, do you ever type an email and it finishes your thought? Here you can turn this on or off if you like that or not. And then if you like the thought that it finishes, you can just hit the arrow key or the tab key, and then it will select what Google suggests, and you can have that in your email as well. Conversation view on. I turn this on so that if I'm emailing you back and forth, then it puts it all in one conversation for me. It doesn't have it in separate emails, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if anybody saw, let me go back here. Whoops, not to compose. Let me go back to my inbox. I have right now in my inbox 345 emails. If I go back here to my settings and I go back to the conversation area, I'm going to turn that off. When I turn that off, I'm going to go down here and hit Save Changes. And if you come up here now, it says I have 461 emails. It's going to put the emails as a separate email. It won't put them together in a conversation view. So I'm going to go back and show you then that I put it back, and then I'll show you what my inbox looks like from that view. So I'll turn it back on. Anytime you make changes on here, you have to scroll down and hit Save Changes. You will notice within some of the apps, you have to hit Save Changes. Some of them you don't. With Gmail, you do. So if you look right here, so this email originally started from Roger. He let us know that he passed his Google Level 1 exam. And then there's 5 conversations in here. So people have responded, whoever he sent it to, and they responded. As you can see, Elizabeth then responded back to him. If you look down here on this email, we have 11 emails back and forth. So it puts those together. So that's why I like conversation. As you can see, when I turn it off, I had more emails here. and they put them separate. I like them all together. When I have them all together, then I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm not going to open up any in case if there's any sensitive information, but you can see all of the emails on, that's in there. Again, just try it, see if you like it. Some people don't like it. It's just what you get used to. So if you go under here to the gear settings, this is where you can change so many things. So a couple other things, I showed you that one email that gave me a nudge. If I don't like the nudge, I can turn that off, but I like that because sometimes, I don't know if it ever happens to you, you send an email, you ask questions, and you might forget that you sent it because you never got a response. It'll nudge you to say, hey, you sent this email 5 days ago. You haven't got a response. Do you want to send another email? So it kind of makes you follow up on an email that you've replied to and you're waiting for answers. Again, as you can see here, there's other options. I'm going to talk about the star option. So I'm used to clicking on the star and, to let me know I need to go back to that. Well, you can have it, instead of just the star, you can have these other icons there. You can have this red bang, yellow bang, the question mark, the little eye. You can, if I wanted this green check mark there, I can just drag and drop it up there so then I can use it. If for some reason I don't want any of these, I can put them down there. So anytime when I click on the star, it'll change yellow. If I click again, it'll change it to the red eye, then the yellow eye. Again, if I want to change the order, I can just drag and drop these icons to change the order of how I want to use them. Here's where you can change your picture. And then right here, you've got your signature. You can add your signature to your email if you would like to, so then you don't have to type it every time. And then also, here's a vacation responder. Even though during the school year, most of the time, we don't take vacations as teachers. But if you're going to be gone for some reason, or you don't have time to answer emails during the day or whatever, you can even turn this on to let them know. They'll get an immediate response back, and you can say, okay, thank you for reaching out to me. I'm in the office, but I won't be able to get to your email until tomorrow, so please be patient. You could put any response here besides just a vacation responder. So if you have some people who like that immediate feedback, and you won't get to your email today or tomorrow just because you're busy working with students or whatever it may be, you can put in a vacation responder on, even though you're not on vacation. So again, try that out. You can have it go to only people in your contacts or only people at your school district. You've got some choices there. So again, this gear lets you change anything under settings. Another thing here, you can do filters. So let me go back to the inbox and let me show you about filters here. So over here on the left-hand side, we've got different filters. Since I do work with different ROEs, I've got some emails going in to these labels here. I've got some people's names here. I can set it up however I want to. So at first when I started to do this, I didn't care for it, but now I know to look over here for emails. So you can see with this one from the Alliance for Education, I have 71 emails I haven't looked at, but it's all there in one folder. If I get time, I can go back and look at them. From Book Creator, I've got 22 emails there. So how do I set all of this up? So if I go up here and search mail and I put from, if I know that I have emails from, I'll put Elizabeth here. From Elizabeth, what I can do, then I can come down here and create filter. What that will allow me to do, I can skip the inbox if I want. If I skip the inbox, it won't come to my inbox. It'll go straight to the filter. Do I like that? I have gotten used to that. And then I just have to force myself to make sure I look over here at my labels. So it's very similar to a folder in Google Drive, but in Gmail, they call them labels. So right here, I can apply it to a label. So if I know I want it to go to this label, the LTC, and then I also want to mark here all of the 26 matching conversations I've had with Elizabeth. Then if I click that and create filter, everything then will go in to this label over here called the LTC. So right now under the LTC, it says I have 3 emails, 3 new emails. From Katie, I've got 1 new email. So all I have to do is hit create filter, and then it'll create the filter. Again, so if I come up here, I will tell you, it took me probably at least 4 or 5 times to understand this labels and creating the filter. But once I finally got it, it has helped me become more organized with my Gmail. Again, do I have to be organized with Gmail? I don't, because I can come up here and I can hit the down arrow and just search for the person I want to search for. So if I want to look for emails from Nicole, again, create filter. I can just search for the emails from her, or I can create a filter and then create a label. When I apply the label, right here, choose a label. If I don't have a label that I want it to go into, I can create a new label from here, similar to Google Drive, creating a new folder. So if you look here, there's all of these options here within the filter that I can do. So some of you might like this and change your life. Some of you, again, I don't mean to overwhelm you, but just to let you know that this is out there. Again, you could be the most disorganized person with your Gmail, whether it's you or your students. It's okay. Let people know it's okay. Everyone is different. And technology helps you with that. Go up here and click on this down arrow, and I can search. If I know, let's say, oh, I can't remember who the email came from, but maybe it had an attachment, or I know that the date within, I know it was within the last month, or if I know it was a certain day within 3 days, give or take, I could come over here and select the day. And I have used this. How have I used this? I know I rode the train, the Amtrak train back in November up to a conference. I sat by a superintendent. We talked, we shared information, but I could not remember his name. And to this day, I still can't. I still go over here, click on, I need to find emails within 3 days of this date and search. And here's all of the emails then that I can search. Could I refine it more? I can. I know by searching this way, it comes up. It was Jim who I talked to, and we talked about this Apple Trainer workshop that we had, and gave them information on that. So true life story of how you can use search to look up things. If you can't remember the name, I just remembered the date, and I searched within, I could search if, within 2-3 days, week, months, whatever. I can even search more. If I knew we talked about Apple, I could put that in there. So I can refine this down to help filter my search even more. So again, use that to your advantage, and hopefully then as you use Gmail more, that will help you. Any questions about Gmail? So we did cover a lot. We had the gear here where you can go to settings, talked about labels. And again, don't panic. If you go, after this class, you go and you try to do your own labels here and it's confusing, feel free, go back to this video, reach out to me, or Google it, whatever, and be glad to help. Because I will tell you, with these labels here in Gmail, for some reason, it took me at least 4 or 5 times to really get it and understand it. Probably more than 4 or 5 times. So don't be so hard on yourself when you're learning some new things. So with Gmail, then we are going to go to calendar. But remember, right over here on the right-hand side, I had tasks, I have Google Keep, I have calendar right there. So if I go and click on calendar, I can go to my calendar and it brings it up here on the right-hand side. I don't like it too much looking at it from that view. What I do like, I just go to calendar.google.com, or I can go to a new tab. Besides typing it in, I can come over here to my waffle and go to my calendar that way. Again, calendar I go to that every day. So I usually pin it and I keep it up here to reference. So again, with the calendars here, I have the option of turning off calendars and turning them on. If you do use Google Classroom creates a calendar for each of your classes. So if that gets too much to look at on your screen on your calendar, again, you can turn them off. So for this classroom, the differentiation workshop class, I've got different assignments that are due this week. I can see previous assignments that were due. And it comes up if I want to see multiple classes, if I have anything else due, I've got that right there. I also have reminders here that I can, is it a calendar too, that it brings it up that I've got some 3 reminders. Again, I started to use this. I don't go back to use it. It's another way to give you reminders. So right here from I think this is from my Google Keep, I put down 3 reminders of what I need to do, you know, complete event agreements. I could put the date and time of things, sign up to take the exam. So then once I've done that, I can go and delete it. So again, various ways to help you stay organized, and you can choose what works for you and what doesn't. So I usually keep that off because, again, I found myself, I didn't go back there to look at the reminders here. So then here's my main calendar of the things that I need. So if I, again, with all my Google Classrooms, if I want to take that off, if I take that off, it goes away. So again, another thing here, do you see there's 3 dots? When I click on, hover over a calendar, those 3 dots, I can look at the settings and sharings of that calendar, and I can even change the color. So that one is blue. If I want it a different color, I can change it to a different color. So if I go up here to create, I can create a calendar invite right here. If I know I'm going to be out of the office, I can create out of the office, and this will automatically decline new and existing meetings. Right here on May 19th, I put it saying, hey, at 2:30. Again, if I don't want 2:30, if I want to put it 3 o'clock, I can put 3 o'clock. I can change the time by just clicking on it. I can put a message here. This is the default message, but I can put something else, decline because I'm out of the office, or whatever it may be. Again, this is public. If I don't want this to be shown, I can put private if I would like. And then I just hit save. If I don't want out of the office and I want a task, here's where I can put a task. Again, it's going to my task. Again, I can put a time or just put all day. I can add a description. And then I have also appointment slots. So this is how to use this with the students. If this is a shared, or even if it's not a shared calendar, I can show you how to use the appointment slots if you want them to, if you want parents to sign up for a time to meet with you for parent student-led conferences or parent-student conferences, whatever you may call them. So if I go to appointment slots here, I have got slots with durations, 30 minutes. I could do a single slot if I wanted. Again, 30 minutes. If I don't want 30 minutes, I can use the up or down arrow or type in 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever I want there. What time? Do I want it from 3 to 4? Do I want it from 3 to 7? I can put whatever time there. Again, if I want right from here, I can go to more options, and it just gives me a bigger screen of the information. I can add a description here. I could go to this calendar's appointment page to see what it looks like. So here's what it's going to look like. I put it on the 19th. Oh, I haven't saved it. That's why it's not showing up. And then if I want to add guests to this, I could add a guest here as well. I could have it repeat if I want. And then if I hit, oh, I've got to put a title on it. Let's see. So I've got it set up for May 19th, 3 to 7 p.m. If I hit save. So then if you look at my calendar here, right here, do you see this icon here? This lets me know it's an appointment slot. I can click on it and then I can go to this appointment page calendar, and then you can see here are the times available. You can give this link out. You can put it in Google Classroom. You can send this link to emails, and then if they just click on it, they can sign up for a time to book an appointment. So then that saves you time on the back end. So again, that was appointment calendar. If I don't want this any longer, I can delete it. Again, here's where I can email guest. I can edit this, click on those 3 dots, and I can have other options. I can copy it to different calendars as well. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete that for now. But if I just come back up here, I created a new calendar. So I've got these different options. If I go to event, let me go to more options to show you. I could have done it from that screen too. I just like working from the bigger screen. I can, right here it says add conferencing. I can add Google Meet, a Google Meet conference. Right now you do have up to 250 participants that you can join your Google Meet. Usually when we're not during this remote learning time, the maximum amount Google Meets allows you to do is 25 participants. Right now, Google has extended their enterprise account version of Google Meets to those of us who use the free version. So they said they're giving that to us until July 1st. Could that change maybe if we see school look different in the fall when we go back to school? They may. So be on the lookout for that, but just know that if you go into your Google Meet and it only says 25 participants and it's after July 1, then that lets us know they took it away, but hopefully then they will implement it back if we ever do remote learning again. If I also go down here to other calendars, so you can share calendars of other employees or other people out there if you would like. I know on my personal calendar with the kids' schedules, my husband and I share the calendar, so when he posts to his, it also posts to my calendar as well. If I go to other calendars and hit this plus sign here, if there's a particular calendar I want to subscribe to, I just can go there. If I want to create a new calendar, browse resources, browse calendars of interest. I can join a calendar from the URL if someone gave that to me, or I can import a calendar as well. So I do want to talk about browse calendars of interest. So being here in Central Illinois, we've got baseball fans. We have some people who might be a Chicago Cubs or Chicago White Sox fan and or a St. Louis Cardinals fan. So when they get back to playing, if I want to see when they play, I can come down here, go to Major League Baseball, and I can go to either Chicago Cubs or White Sox or the St. Louis Cardinals. We are big St. Louis Cardinal fans, so I'll go ahead and click on that, and it shows calendars added. So what does that mean? If I come over here, it shows when the Cardinals are supposed to be playing. So this, I've got it added there. If for some reason that's too much for me, but I want to keep it there, I can just go down here to my calendars and turn off the St. Louis Cardinals. But at any time, if I want to say, oh, during this time, if this was normal times, I could see when they're playing and I could say, okay, this weekend, I've got free time, let's go to a Cardinals game. And then I can click it off. So if for some reason I don't want the Cardinals, I can click on these 3 dots here. I can hide it from list here as well, or I can go back to, or click on this X right here and I can unsubscribe from the St. Louis Cardinals and it takes it off and it's removed. I can remove it there. I could also remove it when I go back into the calendars of interest. So again, for those of you who are big Chicago Cubs or White Sox fan, go back to baseball, go to Major League Baseball, and I can click on Chicago Cubs. It's been added. Do I want more than one added? I could add all of these if I wanted. If you look on here, besides baseball, I've got these other sports here. I've got holidays. I also have phases of the moon, but we all know when we're dealing with students in the classroom, we don't need the phases of the moon calendar. We know when it's a full moon out. So again, this was under browse calendars of interest. If you see over here, I can go and subscribe to other calendars, create a new calendar. I can go to a calendar from a URL link that someone shared with me. So you have all of these choices over here. Again, it could be overwhelming, but the more you use it, the more hopefully you will remember things. Here again, remember the 3 lines. Right now that brings up that menu. Here's a plus sign that creates a new one if I want. So some people like to keep the main menu open there. Some people like to get rid of that. It's your choice. Also, if you come over here, I've got the gear. I've got some settings here as well. You can take a look at this a lot. You can do, you know, sometimes kids might say, hey, Mrs. Schwartz, my calendar's in Japanese, and they think they're funny, and I'll give them a chance to explain to the class how they did it, and it takes away, I guess, the fun of it a little bit, but then it also gives them a chance to step up and kind of show other students how to do some things. So you'll always have some of them, you know, change the language, and that's how you do it under settings. Also time zone, again, take a look at that. You could set your working hours in your calendar. So again, take time to look at the settings, to change things, to manipulate, to make Google Docs work, or Google Docs, to make calendar work for yourself. Again, right now I've got the month view. I can change it here to day, week, year, schedule 4 days. I can not show weekends if I don't want to. It's up to you. So again, you have all of these options. Again, here you got the search. You can search for things within your calendar, keywords contained in the event. Hopefully this will help you be a tool to be more organized and efficient. If not, there's ways that you can search within your own calendar as well. All right, let me go back to the slide deck. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about was finding a time here on calendars. And if I go back to create, when I hit more options, here's the event details. If it's a calendar that someone shares with me, I could find a time. So if I know, let me go back here to create. If I know that I want to add a guest, so I can add guests from here, or I'm just so used to going to more options and having that full screen. And I go to add guest here. So if I know I need to meet with Elizabeth here today, and I need to find a time when she can meet with me, with her calendar's shared with me, so I could find a time. So here it shows me Elizabeth's schedule of when she might have available to meet with me. So that helps me select a time without us, you know, emailing back and forth when we can meet, or me setting up a time and knowing she can't meet. But if I put another person in here, it shows that I've got a star up here that shows me calendar can't be shown. So I can't find a time with Erin because her calendar's not shared with me. So if I take Elizabeth off of here and look at find a time for Erin, I don't see Erin's calendar because again, it's not shared with me. So that wouldn't be able, you know, to help me. Another thing, if you do create a calendar invite and, you know, I send this, you know, save it, it'll be sent to Erin. And then later on, I go back and I change something. I don't have to send her the message again. So if I go back and add another guest, it won't. So what I mean by that, I'll just put test sample. And I've added guests. I've added it for Erin here. Let me just change the date to the weekend. 2:30 to 3:30. Does not repeat, and I hit save. When I do that, it says, would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guests? So they'll get this in their email. They can respond yes, no, or maybe if they can attend. So if I hit send, she'll get that. It puts it on my calendar. Now, if I click on it and I go back to edit, you know, it shows one yes here, one awaiting. We're awaiting to see if Erin can respond to it. Right up here, she can RSVP. She can RSVP from her calendar, or she can RSVP from her email, or one or both. If I go and add Elizabeth's name to this, okay, and I hit save, it's going to say, would you like to send invitation emails to new calendar guests? So Erin won't get another invite. It'll just be Elizabeth. So, you know, if I go back and make changes to this event 5 times, I don't have to send it it won't go to them every single time I make changes. If I want to, I can. Also down here for guest permissions, I can allow these guests to modify the event if they want to go in and change it. If I don't want them to modify the event, I could also then give them choices that they could invite others, or they could see the guest list. So again, usually when I'm doing calendar invites, I let them see the guest list. I may or may not let them invite others. It depends on the event. And again, I may or may not let them modify event. But if I do let them modify event, then they can do all of these things here. If you come up here to more actions, again, you've got more actions here. You can copy it to other calendars. So as you can see, multiple ways to do the same thing, even within calendar. So let me go and I'll delete this so that Erin doesn't reply to it. Would you like to send cancellation emails? Yes, I do. If I want it, I could send a message. I'll just hit send, and Erin might respond to me later like, oh, I got this email from you. Did you need something? But I could have put the message there as well. So again, the more you use calendar, hopefully the more you'll get used to it and understand the power that you can have even with Google Calendar. All right, how are we doing on time? So we've got, oh, perfect. Okay, so we're, are there any general questions for Gmail or Calendar? I know I haven't given you time to play around with it much right now.
I'm not seeing Lisa.
Okay, perfect. Right.
Jill Dillard did have a question earlier about downloads, getting download to come back. It was around the same time she was asking about voice typing.
I answered that.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know that. Thanks, Carly.
That's okay. I sent it as a private, so.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, thanks, Breck. And
thanks for looking out for me, Breck.
I'm always got your back, Jill.
That's awesome, thanks. And that's why here at the end, if we have time to people have conversations with each other, I would like to allow that if you guys want that or need that. So moving on here then to Google Slides. Again, like I showed you earlier with forms, lots of different ways you can go and create a new slide presentation. One thing with the shortcuts with slides, I learned this probably in last month that, you know, I always just type in slide or slides.new. I was testing it out. I'm like, okay, I usually put slide.new. What if I put slides.new? Would it work? Found out it worked. And I found 2 other things. I could put deck.new and presentation.new. It gets me a new Google Slides if I want that. Again, I can go to my Google Drive to access slides, Waffle, or slides.google.com. So lots of different ways you can access the same thing. So right here we are using Google Slides for me to disseminate some of this information and give people a chance to work ahead or learn on their own during this workshop. But I do want to show you here with any picture. So some of these pictures, kind of like in the background, they're not the full color that Google uses. Like for this example, with the calendar color, it's usually a more bold blue. The yellow here for slides is usually more a bold yellow. So how do we do that? If you see that I'm clicking around my screen, when I click here, I've got some different options up here. So it depends on what I'm clicked on. You see I've got different options. Again, the biggest thing is we think, oh, where did that go? Just click around and experiment. The more you use it, hopefully, the more you will get used to it. If not, ask your students, ask other teachers that are close by. If not, so if I click on this image here I've got here, if I go to Format Options, that brings up some other options I can do with this image. So with this image, what I could do, what I like to do to show you is, I think it's under, where is it at? Under Adjustments here, the transparency. So if I slide the transparency back and forth, you can kind of see how you can manipulate the color of the image and kind of send it to the background. Again, the position, if you are dealing with a bunch of different images, you could have changed the order of it, send it to the back. If I right click on it, I can, under order, I can bring it to the front, bring it forward, send backward, or send to the back. So if you are manipulating a lot of different things, images on your screen, you can do that. So another thing you could do here is mask images. So if I click back on this image up here and I go to crop and I mask the image, I can change the image to a different shape if I want. I think, I forget which one, maybe that one I used. So you can do that. You can also add a border to it. So again, I've added the border and then I can change the border color. So right there, here's the border color. I can change the border weight. And to add the border, was it underline? I just went blank right now. Where did I add the border? Format options, maybe. So as you can see, I can't remember everything either. I don't add the border for things all the time. And I just, if someone wants to tell me where to add the border, please either unmute yourself or put it in chat and let us know. Was it under mask? I don't know. Okay. So anyway, there's a place you can add a border. And then once you add the border, you can change the weight and the color of it as well. If I go back up here to this image here, so on this image, what I did, it was, as you can see, the blue lines around it, that's the size of the image, but I just changed, I went to Format Options, or no, I didn't go to Format Options. I went to the mask image and I changed the shape of it. Here's where I put an arrow here. And what I did, I grouped those two together. So to group them together, all I had to do was hit group. It says ungroup because I grouped them together, but I just select both of them and I grouped them together because the purpose of grouping then, if I move it around the page, they'll stay together as one image. So again, these are just some things to do with Google Slides. So why am I talking about these things? If you want to create a virtual classroom and you decide to move things, if I go here and move my bookshelf, I didn't group the books or the picture of the flowers here together. So I would want to go back and group them if I think I'm going to move it around on my slide. When I am searching for pictures, images here, make sure you search for images that have a transparent background. So if I go to Insert Image and I search the web here, it brings it up to the side here. And if I want a chair or a sofa, just put sofa with transparent background. It will bring up a sofa with a transparent background. And then I can just insert this into my slide. I can change the size and it can fit right into my classroom. Another thing with, creating this virtual classroom, you can hyperlink things. So I've got it hyperlinked here. When you click on this, when you're in presentation mode and you click on it, it should just go straight to the YouTube channel. If not, if you're not in the presentation mode, you can just click on it twice. You click on it once, and then here it gives you the link. You can click on it, and then it goes to the YouTube channel. So that's what's nice. If you want the kids to go to different links within your classroom, you can have it go to links within the slide deck. You can have it go to links to other websites out there. How do you create a hyperlink? All you have to do is highlight what you want, whether it's an image or words, and then insert a link. I use insert link almost every day, multiple times a day. So I use the shortcut key. It's Control K. If you, on a Mac, it's Command K, or you can come up here and hit insert link. Anytime you go to some of these tools, you do see in parentheses there what the shortcut keys are. I also have it up here under insert and insert link, again, shortcut keys there as well. So multiple ways to do the same thing. And then when you create the link, then it's, it'll take you to that website that you put in there, or the slide you put in there. So for example, on slide 7, I created links here to Google Slides. So again, if I click on Google Slides and I see I've linked it to slide 20, it goes to slide 20. If you remember, on break real quick, I changed the order of the slides. It changes the slide where I have it. So originally Google Slides was on slide 17. I didn't have to go and change the hyperlink. It did that for me. So again, how did I hyperlink within Google Slides? All I did was highlight the words I wanted. And then again, I hit Command K, but on Chromebook, it's Control K, or just come up here and click on Insert Link. And then right here, I can put the link in of whatever the website is that I want it to link to, or here's some suggestions it gives me, or I can hyperlink within the slide deck. So slides in this presentation, I can have it go to next slide, previous slide, or I can have it to go to a certain slide. Now you might ask, why are some of these slides have the title on them and some don't? Great question. And I did this on purpose to show you. Anytime you use a slide layout that has a title in it, it will create the title here. So what do I mean by that? If I go up here to slide, and I go down here to apply layout. So when I'm creating slides, I can put in my own backgrounds that I want, or, if I'm just starting a new slide deck, it'll just have it blank. But right here where it says blank, I've got this for my background here. Up here, do you see title and body, title in 2 columns, title only, or title slide? Anytime you have the word title in your layout, it will put the title there when you want to link them. So again, as you saw, I didn't have the title on some of them, and you don't have to, but if you know you're linking your slides a lot, it saves you from going over here and seeing, okay, I should put Gmail to slide 17 when I don't have the title right here. So I could look over here and do it that way too. So there are ways around it, but that is a shortcut way if you are finding yourself linking within your slide deck a lot, to make sure you use the layout title. Then it, again, it creates an algorithm on the back end to know to then list the title there when you go and link it within your presentation. Another thing, I have been using this view, this film strip view, to go throughout my slide deck. Right down here to the right, I've got the grid view. So again, know that you can change views and you can see more than one slide at a time, and you might want to work from this way as well. So know that there's some different options here within slide decks and some different views. All right. So then here with video and audio, you can, believe it or not, so if you have been using Microsoft most of your life and you're switching over to Google, with Microsoft PowerPoint, I can always remember inserting audio with it. Well, within the last year, inserting audio became available within Google Slides. So what we can do with this is you do have to have the audio in your Google Drive to insert it into your Google Slides. So let me talk about audio and videos here. So since I started talking about audio, I'll go ahead and start talking about audio. In the classroom, I use soundbible.com a lot to get inserting audio. That's just what we found. It was free. We had copyright to insert that. Are there other websites out there? There are. Just do what works best for you. I was just wanting to make sure that we had the rights to use it in our slide deck. Another option that's came out recently, or that I've learned about recently, is YouTube Audio Library. This will allow you to get several different, there we go, sounds out there. So it's the audio library. If you haven't used YouTube before, you might have to create your channel. Again, if you're new to YouTube, maybe check out some videos on it, or you can check out the workshops that I did earlier this month. Or I think on Monday, which I guess was yesterday, we did talk about YouTube, but I didn't talk about the audio library. So right here, we've got free music and we have sound effects. So if you looked with the free music, it showed a bunch of new music that they just put in there. So if I look right here, it's got the blue pearl, tells me the time, who it's by, and it's gives me the mood of it. If I come up here, I can click on the different filters. I can click on it, filter it by genre, mood, instrument, duration, or even attribution. So if I want, I'm not going, since I had problems with my computer earlier, I'm not going to do this, but if I want, all I have to do is hit download. And then once it downloads, I can drag and drop that into my Google Drive. I have a folder I created with sounds within my Google Drive. So then once you've got that, you can go over here to insert audio. And then I've got here in my drive, I've got the sounds. So all I have to do, whatever sound I want, click on it, hit select, and it will insert it into my slide deck. So as you can see, I already had 2 sounds in here. It inserts this one. I can do a preview and play it from here. Okay. It shows it's 44 seconds long. And then do you see, I have format options for my sounds. Again, if for some reason this disappears, you don't know where it went, make sure you're clicked on it and then go up here to format options. That's how you can bring it back. So it's kind of just, it's closed when you don't need it. I can have that sound start playing on a click or automatically. Again, I can change the volume. I can have the option of the volume when presenting, whatever my volume's set at, or I can change it here. Again, I have these other options here of looping the audio, stop when I change the slides. So again, here's where you've got different options with the audio sound. You can also, if you don't want the sound to be visible, so if I have it going on automatically, I can hide the icon when presenting. So that could be a choice there. But if I have it going on click, I can't hide the icon because I need to know where the sound icon is when I am wanting to click it to play. So again, play around with that. Those were 2 websites. Feel free in the chat if you want to put down other websites that you use for sound. There's plenty out there. I just want to make sure in the classroom setting that the kids and I have rights to using the sound. Also, if you go, so I'm talking about video here. So I showed you earlier how you could put a video in Google Forms for the students to watch. You can put the video here in Google Slides as well. It only plays the video. It doesn't play any ads or doesn't play another video at the end. Another great way to disseminate videos out there if you want students to watch. How do you insert a video? If you go up here to insert and you go down to video here, you can search the videos if you're not for sure what video. If you know the video and you've already copied and pasted the URL, you can just paste it in here, or you've copied the URL, you can just paste it in here. Or if you would, for some reason, have the video in your Google Drive, you can access it from there. So if I look for a video on Jerry Brooks, type in his name, and then, you know, whatever video I want, I can click on, and it selects it. I come down here, hit select, and then it inserts the video right here. So I can have more than one video on the slide deck if I want. And then again, you've got format options. What's nice about when you put videos in here is that you can have it start at a particular time, you can have it end at a particular time. So, you know, if for some reason I want the kids to start watching this at 10 seconds and maybe end at 3 minutes, then it will automatically then start at 10 minutes and end at 3 minutes. I know if some of you use Edpuzzle or some different apps out there of keeping track of the videos and how much they watch, this doesn't do it, but it does allow you to start it and end it where you would like to. Again, you can have it autoplay when you're presenting it. For some reason, if you want it to mute audio, you could have that as well. But again, you've got some different options here that you can format the video how you would like it. And you know, you can just drag and drop it anywhere on the screen that you would like it. So that's inserting video. And again, remember, if that goes away and you can't see the format options for the video, just make sure you're clicked on the video and come up here to format options. And then that should come back. Again, if I want to delete that, all I have to do is make sure I've got it selected and I can delete the video. Here's a video in here on slide 22. It talks about YouTube's audio library. Feel free to play that. I think it's only a couple minutes long if you want to learn more about YouTube's audio library.
Hey, Lisa, there's a question.
Yeah.
Why does my videos come up with just the URL and not the preview of the video?
Oh, so when you're inserting the video?
Anthony, why don't you just go ahead and unmute and answer, since that's your question?
Okay, I have my videos from, or a couple slides from my driver's ed stuff.
Uh-huh.
And when I've created it before, and when I'm presenting it, it just has the URL. Then I click on the URL, then it takes me all the way out into YouTube. And should I just redo it? And or did I insert it the wrong way, or what?
Did you link it instead of?
Maybe I might have linked it possibly. So should I redo it then that way? So that it would come up with a preview so it doesn't kick me out. Because then I have to go back in and restart the presentation over again. You know, present it again in that aspect.
Who was talking there earlier? Do you want to continue? Whoever was answering, AJ?
Yeah, I have done that before where I would just, if you want it to play in the thing, you'll want to insert the video instead of linking the video.
All right, so I'll just go back and redo it then, and it's not a big, as long as I have the URL, that's the main thing on that part. So, okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question, and thank you, Carly, for talking about that and answering that. I think this is what Carly and AJ was talking about. So AJ was saying his videos aren't playing, they're not, it takes them out of it. So the best way to insert a video, and this is what Carly was saying, was go to insert video. And then AJ, you want to put your URL right here. And then when you put your URL there, select it, and then it will show up as a video. Is that, AJ, is that what you think might help?
Yeah, I think so. I think I got it now. So
Okay.
I just have to As long as I got the URL, that's the main thing. I just have to go back in and just insert it then that way. So, which will make it a little easier that way.
Yeah, perfect. And thank you, Carly, as well. So again, it's sometimes, you know, when you're playing around with it, if it doesn't work, feel free, email me, or if you know other people that's in our meeting today, hopefully reach out to them and email them as well to help out. But it's nice to have a tribe of people you can go to get help. So as you saw with Google Slides today, I have not usually been in the presentation mode, so I can go back and forth to different apps to show you. But if you do go to the presentation mode, let me show you a few things. So how did I get to the presentation mode? I went up here where it says present, and I clicked on presentation or present, and I'm in the presentation mode. So then what this allows me to do, I can click on this screen, go to the next slide. I can come down here, click the arrow to go to the next slide. I can click on the back arrow to maneuver around. So multiple ways to get around. And then if I had any hyperlinks in here, all I would have to do, I talked about this earlier, I would just click on it, and then it would take me to that link up there to the YouTube audio library. I wouldn't have to click on it twice. If I had these sounds coming in automatically when I'm in the presentation mode, they would start playing. The video, again, if I'm in the presentation mode, I click on it, it starts playing.
Channel icon at the top of any.
And then it, you know, it doesn't show ads before it starts playing, and it will end. It won't start showing another video at the end. Another thing I can do if I'm presenting and I want the kids' attention, I can click on the B. Usually, there we go. And that gives me a black screen. It just clears the screen. And to get out of that, I can hit escape and I go back, or I'm not going to do it because I think I'm having issues again. I can click on the W and it puts a white screen up there, and it mutes the screen. So then if you want to have a discussion and you don't want the distraction of the screen up there. Also, if you look down here, I showed you where I can maneuver this. I can even have the slideshow go automatically if I want. I can play it right here. I can maneuver around where it says slide 23 here. I can click on this down arrow and I can go to different slides based off of this. I could, I have a Q&A. I can have a question and answer session within this slide deck. I've got notes. I can put a pointer on. So if I want to have this pointer everywhere my mouse goes, I can use the pointer. If I want that off, I can turn that off. I also have closed captions. So everything I say will be like closed captions on the screen. Right now it is showing up at the bottom of the screen. If I want it at the top of the screen, just click on that arrow right to the right of closed captions, and I can move it to the top of the screen. And then you can see everything is up there at the top. Now, when I stop presenting, my closed captions go away. So if I want, for some reason, my closed captions to stay, I could maybe do a screencast or a recording of my presentation with the closed captions up there. But right now, there's not a way to save it. Who knows, there may be one coming soon. I don't know what Google has planned. Again, I showed you text position. Again, I have text size options that you can play around with as well. So when I want that off, I just click on that, turn that off. I showed you this, here's the shortcut keys to mute the screen. Again, if you're big on shortcut keys, if you go under the I for tips, you can see some other shortcut keys that you can do within Google Slides. I don't have those memorized. Again, the shortcut keys I use are the ones, the keystrokes that I do most often. Again, I can do enter full screen, exit full screen using this here. And then also I have a gear for some options. I can open speaker notes. I can have it auto advance when I play it. And here's where I can control how many seconds in between do I want it to advance if I have it played. If I look here for more, I can even download this I can download this back as a PowerPoint if I would like to. I could print it, download as a PDF, or if there's, I can report abuse or copyright. Again, I could exit out right here, or I can hit escape. I can go, either way, but just know in presentation mode there, I've got those options. The question and answer, let me show you that. So if I go to the question and answer here, I can start new. And if I start a new question and answer, right now it says it's only accepting questions from the LTC. I can change that to anyone, and I've turned it on. At any time I can turn this off or on. I'll go ahead and turn it on that I'm accepting questions. So what does that do? If you type this URL in a new tab, you can ask questions, you can respond to others. So if I go back to the presentation mode, do you see right at the top of the presentation mode? So if anybody wants to try this now, feel free to do so. Go up to a new tab and type in slides.app.goo.gl. This is just another URL shortener, and it is case sensitive. It's C2HY7, and see what happens then when you go to that. While I'm waiting for this, I've got Mary. Does your nine-year-old want to show right now?
Yes, she's more than willing.
Okay,
Hold on a second.
that's fine.
All right.
So before I get out of this, did anybody go into the question? Okay, so Kara went in, she asked the question, how are you? So then what you should be able to do then, I think you can respond to them. You can even, I think you have the option to be anonymous as well. So if I wanted to, I could go in and respond to that on the question side, that if I was a student here, I could do a thumbs up or thumbs down. And then even though I get out of it or I stop accepting questions, I can go back to it if I want to see that maybe some questions that students had asked. So again, I can exit out of it, and then it takes me out of the Q&A. But if I go back, let me go back to presentation and show you. If I go back into the Q&A, I have the option to continue the recent one I have, or I can start a new one. So here's the recent one. Just go and click continue, and then all of the questions or comments are there. So someone anonymously then posted that question. So you've got that choice as well. All right, so let me exit out of this. I'll stop sharing my screen. And Mary, is your daughter ready then? Or I'm sorry, your 9-year-old.
He is.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, your son.
Okay. Can you see our screen?
Yeah, if you want, you can go to the bottom of Zoom and you could share the screen, or is he on a different computer, different device?
He's on a different device.
Okay, I don't know if you can move closer with your camera.
Okay. Can you see now?
I can, but I don't know if I'll be able to see what he's doing.
Okay. Are you ready, Malin?
Yeah.
Talk to him. Talk him through it like you did
So
me.
there's one way that you can do it. You make your word title the size of your border, and you do it all the way to make it, and then so let me get the border, the size of it.
So you're making your title the size of your border?
Yes.
Okay.
Then what do you do?
So then you go up here to the border color, and you have to go up
To the
here your
pencil.
border color, and then you can pick the color you want. Then you go to the weight, so you can make it as thick as you want and as thin as you want. So we'll go, this is the 8. So then you'll go to here and it'll show you there's a straight line and then there's different
Which one?
types. So I'll just do this. There's dots. And then if you want to do a regular one, you just click like this and that's regular. And then if you want, you can click and add a title.
Oh, awesome.
She's been watching and learning today with me.
Oh, awesome.
She loves Google.
All right.
I'll go off.
No, you're fine. And Mary, what was, what was her name?
Her name is Malin.
Malin. Well, thank you so much, Malin, for showing us. And maybe at the end we'll have some time and she can share some more things, or we can ask her what she's been creating during this time of remote learning.
To be honest, she shows me stuff all the time. I'm getting old.
Oh, no. And that just shows that we're constantly learning, that hopefully people are comfortable not knowing everything. And, you know, with even my own students, I've learned things from them. So, you know, going back to the Sound Bible, when we would create PowerPoints, a student found Sound Bible and how that was free, and we could have rights to download some of the sounds into our PowerPoint. So, oh, trust me, I've learned plenty from my students as well. So going back here to the slide deck, a few other things here. On slide 24, I do have a link here into a Google Slides introduction. If you go into this, you should.
You're not sharing your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. So on slide 24, if you go into this Google Slides introduction, I linked another slide deck here for you to click on. So again, if you're not in the presentation mode, and if you can click on it right now during this presentation, you know, click on it once and then come down here and click on the link, and it opens up a new slide deck. Feel free to test your knowledge on some of the things you learned today, and take a slide. How do you know which slide to work on? Work on one that you don't see any other animal on. And why are we all showing up as animals? So, so if you see slide number 2 originally had 3 animals on it. Okay, now we're down to 1. Perfect. So we've got the anonymous badger here on slide 2. So the reason why you are all showing up as anonymous is because I shared this link through my slide presentation. I didn't share it to you with your Google account. So right now on slide 2, we've got 2 anonymous animals. So how to get around this, if you're working with this with your students, you know, maybe your students are all a certain number in your class, and you could tell them always to take that number of slide deck. Would you always share a document with a lot of people at the same time? Not always. Maybe in the beginning to teach, you know, some things and show them, hey, everything you type here, everything you do, other people can see. So how can we tell? So right now on slide 2, we have both the anonymous rabbit and anonymous badger typing or deleting things. So we've got 3 animals there. So again, how do you go? Just scroll down. I think I put plenty of slides in here, and pick a slide that you don't see another animal on, and start typing. So we've got, and maybe it's because when you first come in, maybe you come in on slide 2, but how do we know which anonymous animal you are? Well, whoever is a reading ELA teacher, and if they type their name or whatever here, we'll see, okay, they're the anonymous rabbit. But you personally can't see what anonymous animal you are. And normally when you're working with students, you'll want them to share through their Google account so you can see who does what. Because just like with Google Docs, you can see who's doing what. If I go up here to File, Version History, I can see, I can go to See Version History here, and I can see who's doing what here. And right now it's just showing up all anonymous users. If you share this within the Google account, it'll show up whether it's Lisa, Kelly, Mary, Carly, whoever it is, it would show up here, and then it would show the color. So right now the anonymous rabbit is pink. Right now it's showing there's 11 edits. And then, here I did do a template kind of to put a YouTube video and put a selfie. Again, practice inserting a YouTube video. Again, the best way to do it is going to insert video, and you can do that either by searching for the video or by the URL to copy the link if you're at the video right now. I can insert a selfie. Again, if you're new, you're not for sure, you've never taken a selfie before, or do you have to insert a selfie? You don't. You could insert another image if you'd like. All you have to do is go to insert image, and you can pull an image from your Google Drive, from photos, from a URL, upload it if it's on your computer, or even search the web. Or if you take a selfie, all you have to do is I went to insert image, camera, and then I've got to turn my camera on. It's pulling it from my other monitor, and then just look at the camera. If I like if I'm ready to take the picture, all I have to do is then come here and click the yellow camera. And then when I do that, I've got the picture right here. If I like it, I can insert it. If not, I can cancel and retake the photo, and then I can move that photo around the page. So kind of fun. And then you can kind of see who's in the class today. You can see this anonymous narwhal. Change the background. You can change the background, play around with it, but just realize that you have editing rights to this whole slide deck. So could some people delete things, put pictures on other people's slides, put words or things on other people's slides? You can, but again, when you're doing it in the classroom setting, sharing it through the Google account, you'll know who's doing what on each slide. It shows up under version history. So it's, a good teaching moment in letting the kids know, hey, Big Brother's always watching, and we can always see what you're doing. So feel free, have fun with that, and keep adding if you would like to. A couple other things, I've got some add-ons here. Notice some of these add-ons are free, some have a paid subscription. Usually what these add-ons and extensions allow you to do is something more than what you can do with Google Slides. What I like about this Photos to Slides, it will insert photos from your Google photo album and put a photo on each new slide. Again, there's a free and paid subscription, so check it out, but I've only just used the free subscription. And it's kind of neat then if you need a slideshow to play throughout a presentation with just pictures, you can. I know some people have been scrambling and using this add-on to create presentations, to do graduations, or to do, to push out pictures of all of the graduates, since everything's virtual these days. Again, Unsplash images, great to use. It's got high resolution images you can use. You have 250 plus images, and I've only seen the free version. I don't know if there is a paid version, but I've just seen it being free. So you do see some of these add-ons being free. There's also two other add-ons, Slides Carnival. You've got some other templates out there that you can use. And then there's also another add-on called Icons by Noun Project. But again, the first 100 icons to choose from are free. But then after that, you have to pay a subscription. So if that's, again, if it's something that you would use a lot, some of these add-ons may be worth it. Again, if you can't create add-ons at your school district, that's fine. Or if you can't add add-ons, most districts, the tech department has control over that, because they know what kind of data these add-ons and extensions are collecting from students using it. So it might not fit the guidelines under SOPA, the Student Online Privacy Protection Act. So I always refer to the tech department to, let them know, hey, I like this extension. Can we use that with students or can we not? And they can usually find out what kind of data and more information on these add-ons and extensions. If not, you can always try it with your personal account to see as well. Here on slide 27, I also have some other lesson ideas. I've got some links here. So a lot we've covered today, but just here within slides, you can do, what I like about slides, you can have kids tell stories and they can hyperlink to different slides, kind of like within forms, how you can link to different sections. They can choose your own adventure stories. So a lot of ways to do things. Do you have to be creative and think of these ways? No, especially during this time. Sometimes the kids are coming up with, hey, Mrs. Schwartz, I can do it this way. And hopefully you're okay with seeing their creativity come out and see the different ways. And just like Mary said earlier, that whether your own daughter, I forgot her name already, I apologize, how she's teaching you a lot. So hopefully you're okay with not knowing everything, and you use some of these apps in your class without knowing everything, but being willing to let some other kids step up and talk about what they know and share that with everyone. The big takeaway from today then is, hopefully I didn't overwhelm you too much, or you got a few things that you can go and either change in your own personal life or add to your classroom to help you out with your technology. But I love Maya Angelou's quote, "I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better." So I hope this will help you on your journey throughout this remote learning, and will continue on when we get back into the classroom. I do have this Google evaluation. Again, this was on slide 2 as well. If you have time to fill that out, to give me feedback, I would appreciate it. And then also know that within the next 24 to 96 hours, you will be getting a ISB evaluation. And then that, once you complete that, you will get your evidence of completion from that. So feel free, if you want, you can stay on and people can have conversations or get questions answered. And if not, you're free to go whenever you'd like. So again, thank you for being with us today, and check out the website to see what other workshop offerings are offered throughout the summer.
Do we also have to put in our initials in the